Hot Toys Spider-Man 2099 from the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse line. What a way to kick off this line. I'm so hyped we're getting this right at the end of 2024. Let's unbox it and review it. Let's go. And here we go. We have the box art here for the Spider-Man 2099 figure from Hot Toys. Like I said in the intro, what a way to kick off this line. I'm very hyped for this line. I'm all in on the Spider-Verse line. We got to get gloved up for this one. I'm a huge fan of this movie. I just love Across the Spider-Verse. I've been really looking forward to seeing how this figure looks. Again, we kind of saw how the changes they made. If you don't know, they had a different version of this that they promoted. Kind of had some feedback that were given, and they kind of went and made some changes. And here we're going to look at the final product of this Spider-Man 2099 figure. And I'm really excited to jump into this. We're going to give the thumbs up approval here to get started. Here we go. The box art, I love it. It's got that futuristic feel. If you're a fan of these movies, you just know that in the movie Spider-Man 2099, it's like this futuristic aesthetic, really cool stuff here. And I love how they kind of have that with the box art. Kind of gets you right back into the film, right back into those scenes with Miquel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099. So we're going to take a look at everything that comes inside the box, but I always like to take a minute to look at the box and show the presentation of it, because this is the whole unboxing experience. I will be putting chapters in here, so if you want to skip ahead to certain things, maybe you want to see the articulation, maybe you want to see the back of the box art like we're looking now, maybe you want to just see the highlight reel and my final thoughts. I will put that in the description below so you can kind of skip around if you would like. But if you're with me for the whole ride, we're going to unbox this figure. We're going at some different speeds here just to kind of go through all of this. And you can kind of see everything you get with it. You can already see the, and the stuff I just pulled out right here is that cardboard backdrop. So this comes with a cardboard backdrop that looks pretty cool. Again, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to build it up, and we're going to show that here in a little bit. But you kind of see some of the hand sculpts, the webbing, the cape, the figure. So we're going to jump into this and look at all of it. As always, I mean, you can kind of see that there's an instruction booklet here, Spider-Man 2099. We're actually going to look at this because we're going to have to figure out how to put that cardboard thing together. I've never put one of those together before, so I'm very excited to be to kind of seeing how that looks and how I'm going to like that. Also tells you how to switch out some of the things with the webbings, which we'll get into here in a little while. But let's jump into this figure. Across the Spider-Verse, man. I'm so hyped to be starting this line. And we're going to take out the figure and just kind of see what the weight's like. I always like to see what the weight's like, and I'm telling you, the weight is really good. It is really substantial for this figure. Again, this Spider-Man figure in the movie, he's just a hulking presence. He's a big guy. It's a big Spider-Man. I'm very interested to see how he's going to scale with the other Spider-Man figures in the Spider-Verse line. But I can just tell you the weight is substantial, and it is a really solid figure. And you can just see right here, man, the color scheme, just how good this looks. I don't have a UV light to show off the luminous effect with the UV light, so I apologize for that in advance. But that is a feature on this figure as well. And you can kind of see the, not the articulation. We haven't gotten to that yet, but you can kind of see the proportions. And the proportions are really good. You can kind of see the symbols here, the spider symbol on the chest. Kind of get some good movement here on the ball joint on the head. And we're going to kind of take a look at that. And obviously the Miquel O'Hara head sculpt. But my first thoughts right out of the box. I always like to give my first thoughts right out of the box. And I could say that it just feels substantial. It looks great. The colors really pop. I hope I'm doing it justice on this review, how vibrant the colors are. And the stitching looks great. And here we got this. Be very careful with these pieces here. This whole review, I was nervous about breaking these. It even says in the instructions the material that this is made out of, to be very careful not to put pressure on it. So just be aware of that when you have this figure. And it will kind of get in your way from time to time when you're trying to interchange the hand sculpts and stuff like that. So please just be aware of that and be careful. But you can just see the beauty of this thing, man. I mean, the color scheme on this is fantastic. The vibrant colors, that's what you want when you're collecting the Spider-Verse line, is to mimic what you see on screen. And those movies just have beautiful art design, beautiful colors, really vibrant colors. And we're getting that here with this figure. And I kind of just wanted to show you how it looks. And here is the Miquel O'Hara head sculpt. And I'm blown away, man. I'm blown away by this head sculpt. This looks great. The only thing I would say right out of the box is that I wish there was a little bit more shading on the head sculpt. Maybe give some of those lines that make it look more like his head sculpt did in the movie. But the interesting thing is, in the movie, like, different scenes show different versions of it, just how the Spider-Verse films are the art style is. So again, in some of the scenes, a lot more prominent on like the lines around his nose, the lines on his chin, stuff like that. But overall, this is a beautiful sculpt, and I think it works tremendously well. It gives you that art style. Look at the sculpted hair. It looks phenomenal, but it gives you that art style where you feel like it belongs in the Spider-Verse films, but it's still such a great standalone sculpt that it actually somewhat works as like a live action version as well, like from afar. Like right here, I mean, you can tell it's animated, but there's also a lot of realism there as well. You can kind of see the eyeball movement mechanic in the back. Very easy to access these eyeball rollers here. I have, pretty big hands, and I was able to get in there without the tool. So just kind of be aware of that as well. We're going to take a look at the hand sculpts next. Again, just the sculpt work and the application of the paint just looks so good. I mean, I can't say enough about how vibrant these colors are, how beautiful the paint applications are on this figure. And that's really been the thing that stuck out to me so far. And we're going to just take a look at these hands and kind of show you all the different ones that come with. I love these ones that almost have the fangs on the fingers. I just love that part of it. It's almost like, a prowler type of thing, like where he's like grabbing onto stuff and using those to climb up the, like that scene where he's chasing Miles on that train or whatever. Kind of have these other two different hand sculpts. You get two pairs of hands plus the pair of hands that come already on the figure. And we'll take a look at those here in a little bit as well. But I'm just really happy with these. Again, somebody that doesn't, I personally like to get like a couple of hand sculpts just because you can get some different interchangeable hands and different scenes and different looks and stuff like that. It's always really welcome. Here is obviously the wrist device that, the time portal, the time travel, whatever you want to call it. I'll be totally real with you. The actual name of this eludes me right now. So, but you know what, if you've seen the movie, you know what this is. Again, just an awesome piece to put on there. I'm definitely going to have this on the figure pretty much the whole time. I mean, I really like that because it's specific to the movie, specific to the character, and I really like that. These are little pieces that you will interchange out onto the hand, so that way you can put the different futuristic webbing on there. And we're going to take a look at that a little bit. Here we go. We have some of these effects that make it look like his arms are going forward, attacking or whatever. Just a really cool visual effect. Again, some of these Spider-Verse figures like the Miles G. Morales will have something like this as well. And I really like this. This is really cool. And we're going to take a look how this goes in. The top of it kind of slides into the fingers and kind of holds its place right there to kind of give that effect. Here's some more of that like webbing, futuristic webbing effect here. This one we'll take a look at with the stock hand sculpt, the one that comes default on the character. And you got some more intricate, webbing, shoot design here, which is really cool. And so we're going to take a look at all that when we get through this, but I just kind of wanted to show these off one by one so you can kind of see the different options you have with these. And I think these look great, and it's cool because if you've had a Spider-Man figure, the webbing's really cool, man. But this, I like how simple these are. There's only a few of them, which I personally like because a lot of times that webbing gets kind of crazy. Here's the Spider-Man 2099 in the Comic Sans font with this Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Really like that hexagonal base. But here's, again, your mileage is going to vary if you like this or not. You got the flight pole mechanic here with the base. No crotch grabber, nothing like that. I'm always nervous about that with the suit, but we'll look at that here in a minute. And here's the magnetic cape that comes with it. It is just solid plastic. There's the two magnets right here. Full disclosure, and you're going to see me kind of try to put this on earlier. I had a really tough time getting the magnets to kind of stick with this. I don't know if I was doing it correctly or not. I'll give Hot Toys the benefit of the doubt that it was a me problem, but it was really giving me fits. Now let's take a look at the articulation here on this figure. I'm going to move these arms. You can kind of see, I just want to show you kind of where it's going to get wrinkled up on you if you're somebody who's nervous about the creasing on the suit. Again, I want to show you guys this. I plan on posing the figure up. I know that, I'm not going to probably keep it in the pose forever, but I'll definitely change poses every now and then, but I definitely am going to be careful as well. And I just kind of want to show you the different wrinkles that could come up. Again, have fun with the figure. If you bought the figure and you want to pose it, I personally recommend to do so, but just be careful and know that, there is potential, just like with a new pair of shoes or anything like that, that there is going to be some of those stress lines on there and some different wrinkles. But again, for this review, I wanted to kind of show you the articulation. I wanted to kind of show you the different, where things could be kind of seamed out and where things could kind of give you issues if you're really nervous about wrinkling up the figure. Again, maybe it's somebody maybe you're somebody who just wants to do museum pose, but if you want to do this, just be aware that this is a very well articulated figure. The suit seems to be really elastic and move well. I didn't push it too far just because I was a little nervous. The stitching's on it really good. The feet are really good. You can go to side on them, front and back. So you can probably get some really good different articulation on the feet as well. Again, I'm trying not to push it too far, but I also want to show you in the review, you know, kind of how it looks as well. And you can kind of see the back and kind of the arms, and you got the bend here at the elbow. And again, really solid articulated figure here right out of the box, which I like. It doesn't feel stiff. It doesn't feel, you know, it moves relatively easily, but you still have to put a little bit of weight on it. So just be careful about that. We got a little bit here in the torso region, and I'm going to try to push that a little bit. We got a swivel here at kind of the pelvis, kind of the thigh area in the midsection. So again, this guy's top heavy, man. If you remember in the show, and I just wanted to show off those plastic bits one more time, just be careful with that or whatever material that's made out of. And I wanted to show this with the head sculpt as well. You can kind of see the traps all the way up to the head sculpt with this beautiful sculpted hair. This sculpt work is fantastic. And remember, this guy's proportion-wise is going to be top heavy just like in the show. I love that over-exaggerated look in the show. Here is the cardboard base backdrop that I already put together off camera. It looks cool, man. I mean, the only issue I had with it is it was tough to stand on its own. Like, so as soon as this kind of like on the left, y'all's left, like how we're looking, you can kind of see I'm having to maneuver it because it just kind of went too far. I don't know if that's a mistake I made or not, but it was just very difficult for me to kind of keep it upright and even. And so that was a little bit of a bummer, but it is cardboard, so you got to be careful with it. I do plan to do stuff with this with photography or, you know, videos or whatever, and we're going to take a look at it here in a minute. But overall, I probably won't have that displayed with the figure. Here is the cape right here, and this is, I wanted to show a little bit of this. Normally I edit this out, but I was having a very tough time with this magnetic cape. And again, I'm totally gonna say this might be on me. I might not have known what I was doing. I tried my best to get this on and looking good, and I thought I did well, pretty good right here, but again, it just seemed off. It didn't seem like it was connecting too well. And so again, just be aware of that. That might be something that gives you a headache as well. Here's kind of those effects that we were talking about earlier on the kind of the, you know, it kind of plugs in on top of the hand, which is nice. It was very easy to be able to get that that wrist accessory on there, plus these. All of it looks really good. Again, with the cape, looks cool, but I'm probably not going to have it with the cape. Here is the default hand sculpt that you can have, and you can plug in that webbing right there on the top. So again, I really liked how simple it was to kind of get the webbing on here. And here we go. Here's the showcase time. It's time for the showcase, and we're just going to show it off, and I'm going to put my thoughts in, my final thoughts while we're going here. So let's jump into it. Just a really badass looking piece right here. Gonna show off the masked head sculpt here. You can see the proportions, you can see the sculpt work, you can see the different accessories. There's that hexagonal base. Really a big fan of the proportions, the material, the color scheme on this thing, man, the art design. Here it is with the Miquel O'Hara head sculpt, which is just phenomenal. Just a fantastic figure. If you've been on the fence for this one, if you weren't sure about this one, if you wanted to see what it looked like in hand, I hope this video is doing it justice, because this figure is a beast. And it is a phenomenal figure. Just a beautiful piece. Great character, great movie. I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching.